Can you back into the metrics a little bit for me? Like, what if somebody wants 6 clients on the end, what would they typically need to have as far as people registering for a webinar throughout the month to translate into 6 clients at the end? And I know it's going to be different in every geography, every target market. So you can't give me, hard and fast rules. Give us some ideas of what that looks like. How many people do we need to actually register to make this work?
I'll give you the numbers first, and then I'll give you a little bit more of my opinion about it as well. But I think, like a third, right? You get 21 people who register. You're probably going to get about 14 who show up. And then, depending on how well you're able to convert, maybe 6 clients from that. If the better you are at converting, obviously, the better success you're going to have. And that's something that a lot of lawyers do wrong, I think, is when they're hosting events, whether in person or virtual, they just get up there and they speak and they give some information. They usually do it in a really boring, dull way that doesn't really resonate with people. And then here's the real problem. They finish with, okay, thanks. If you have any questions, give me a call. Because they feel like anything beyond that is salesy and they shouldn't be doing it. We teach is you've got to have a very strong call to action at the end. You've got to spend at least 10 minutes at the end of the event selling the next step in the process, because you've got to remember with estate planning, most people aren't ready to hire you. They may not even be ready to come in for a complimentary consultation, but they are willing to at least attend an event. So then at the event, what's your goal? Is to get them to take the next step. And so you've got to have that strong call to action. So I would say if you can get in front of, 30 people a month, that's a good starting point to get 6 clients. But there's another thing that I wanted to mention, and you sort of hit on this, which is that don't think of your webinars as a popularity contest. Quality is better than quantity. And every now and then I have a student who's like, I'm advertising my event and only 10 people have signed up. And they're somehow disappointed with this, which I think is weird, because if you had 10 consults on your calendar, you'd be thrilled, right?
Right.
But what I tell my students is that, I've had events where 70 people showed up and I got over $80,000 in business from it. But I have hosted so many more events where 3 people showed up, but all 3 of them hired me, which is with my pricing is over $12,000 in revenue, right? So I wouldn't focus as much on, there's not a ton of people here, and instead focus on what are you saying? What is your call to action? That's going to matter just as much, if not more, than how many people are in the room. And again, you're right. If your goal is to build a 9-figure practice, well, what I'm saying isn't really going to resonate with you. But if your goal is to make $20,000 a month and still be able to coach your daughter's soccer team, just get 30 people in a room. That should be enough to get you 6 clients.